BIFROST, episode 3. It's a pop culture show for you and me. Blake and Sean got a lot to say. BIFROST, episode 3.
No, that's good though. Like how I wanted to ask you, what is maybe one of the most memorable fan interactions you have from meeting a fan or someone at a convention or just at a comic store? Like, what's one
Yeah.
memorable kind of takeaway?
I Oh man, I have a good answer for that, but I'm going to go with the safe answer.
Okay.
The safe answer is anytime I meet someone who's been to war,
Mhm.
who's missing limbs, who I met a guy who was special forces, 6'6", big red hair. He looked like Thor, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" And he just talking about whatever he's doing. He like broke down in tears, like, "I'm sorry, this is amazing. I loved your stuff. It's silly to think of the comic book would get me through these tough times when I was in Afghanistan, but your work like meant a lot to me." And I'm just like,
Wow.
holy shit, I'm not ready to hear that. Like, Jesus, you're a real superhero, killing, I don't know what he's did, but and here I am, just some idiot who sits behind a desk drawing heroes. Like, I feel like you should be sitting behind this table signing my shit.
Wow.
And as with most soldiers, they are very polite and yes sir, no sir, and all that. And it's hard, like especially if they're missing limbs or if they're PTSD or whatever, like that's always really hard.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad to have that interaction because it suddenly makes it very real and it sort of reminds you what's important in life,
So true. So true.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, yeah, just to hear that. I know actually that I forget what it's called. There's some service that sends comics overseas to like Afghanistan and to all the active military. I forget what it's called though,
Yeah.
but they have books that they send over. And I remember meeting people too who were like military men that would come and they were just so polite, so wonderful, and really just like talking about how much it meant to them to help get them through whatever they were going through. And I think you're right. That's just an incredible experience to be able to talk to them about it.
Right.
Well, I wanted to tell you quickly my fan interaction that I just have to tell you, which was the best.
Please, I want to know.
Yeah, I was in at the Kamikaze in LA, which was, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. And I was there. This was back when I wasn't even really writing comics yet. It was just my books. And this guy came up to me and he was holding a phone. And he just kind of stood in front of the table and was looking at me smiling. I could tell he was very nervous. And sometimes guys would just like walk by the table and they'd be like, kind of like looking at me kind of like behind a comic or something. And I was like, okay, are they afraid to come over? Like, I wasn't sure. So this guy came over, he was very sweet and just stood there and he kind of showed me his phone and he had been like typing on it and I read like what was on his text screen. So it turned out that he is hearing impaired. And he was coming to meet me and he didn't have his interpreter with him that day. So he wanted to come over and say hello, but he didn't have the right like person to come and talk for me. So we just decided to type it out on his text. And we had a wonderful conversation back and forth. And, he is so incredible. He, to this day, he still supports me. I write him. When I flew out to San Diego, I think a couple of years ago, he was there again and he brought his interpreter this time. So I got to see him again and he said, I just came to see you. And I was like, oh my, I literally started bawling my eyes out because he was so sweet. And I
love those stories because it's so easy to get carried away at shows and to be suddenly reminded of what it's all about or what's really important.
Oh, for sure.
In an instant like that. Like I've been choked up too with I have stories like that too. I think if you do this long enough, we all sort of eventually sort of meet the same kinds of people in different ways. But I haven't met the deaf guy yet. It's interesting.
Oh, it was really sweet. So yeah, I think that you're right. It puts it into perspective when you realize like what you're doing in your little drawing room or in your desk in your house is affecting people around the world. Like they gravitate towards it or it means something to them is so incredible. So that was one of the coolest things ever.
Would you like to go to San Diego like every year if you could?
I actually probably wouldn't go every year. I went to a little con last year, which was called Granite State in New Hampshire, I believe. It's
Yeah,
tiny.
I was there.
No,
I was
okay,
there.
maybe it wasn't. Sorry, it wasn't last year. It was the year before. I don't think you were there because I would have
Yeah.
come to find you. It was, I
Oh,
think it
I
was the
might have
year
skipped that
before.
year.
But yeah, that little
Shit.
con was so much fun. Like it was so relaxed and it was all about the comics and family. And it was this little town, which was
Mhm.
incredible. It had like the best little restaurants and kind of cantinas and places like bars
Oh
and
yeah.
speakeasies. Oh my gosh, it was
Yeah.
amazing. It was so much fun. So I kind of really like the
Yeah.
idea of doing maybe like a bigger con every second year and then doing smaller cons
Mm.
kind of in between. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that the smaller shows, I mean, you might not make as much money or see as many readers, but it's more relaxed and you're less stressed out. You don't feel like you have to network or have to posture or you have to watch for reporters hiding
Right.
behind a rock or under the toilet. Uh,
Ambush you in the bathroom.
I know. Have you ever been ambushed in the bathroom by a reader or
I'm
by
trying to
a
think.
female reader, obviously,
Yeah.
or a male? I don't know.
I've been ambushed a couple of times. Not in the bathroom, thank goodness, but just kind
Oh,
of like, caught off guard, like mostly with like doing
yeah.
kind of interview requests and things like that. When I wasn't
Right.
ready or I didn't know it was going to be like, they just kind of shove a microphone in your face and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
happening here?
Yeah.
That type of thing. But I'm not at the
Yeah.
level
I've been
you're at a different level. So I can imagine that would be kind of scary if people are following you into the
yeah.
bathroom.
It's funny. I've been taking a leak at the urinal and then with 20 other people, and then suddenly the person behind me is like, "Hey, Sean, love your book," and I'm trying to shake off without getting piss on my pants. Like, Thanks, buddy.
They're
Like,
like, oh
couldn't have
my
waited till I was
God.
washing my hands.
Oh my gosh. Like, dude, we're going to the bathroom next to Batman.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I think people just forget themselves. I was on an escalator once and going. I think I was at Heroes Con, and there was someone who was 60 feet above me, 3 levels up, looking down, shouting Sean, and I didn't respond. It's like, could be
Yeah.
anybody. A lot of people named Sean out there. It doesn't
Yep.
necessarily mean me. And he goes, Sean Gordon Murphy. I'm like, fuck. So
You
I
can't
look up.
hide.
I see a no. I see a dot of a face like 60 feet above me, and I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, I love your book, man." And I go, "Thanks." He's like, "Can I get you a coffee?" I'm like, "No, I'm good, thanks." Yeah, toss it down.
Yeah, really. Oh my gosh. Well, that guy had to have
I
pretty
think,
good eyesight to even recognize you from
yeah,
60 feet away. Holy crap.
I know.
Jeez.
It's rare when that happens, but it's a little interesting. I mean, the closer you go, Blake, to a convention hall, the higher the odds are of somebody recognizing you by each step you
Yes,
take.
this is
So
true.
it's just countdown to like, oh my god, are you Blake Northcott?
Yeah.
My favorite.
That is the joke because my local comic store is so small. I was going there for the
Mhm.
past, 4 or 5 years with my comics on the shelves, and nobody would like. I would go like totally in my hoodie. I didn't look like presentable. I was just in my glasses and stuff. So I would
Yeah.
go in buy comics. They had no idea who I was. But then I had to start a pull list.
Mhm.
When I was pulling stuff, they started to clue in. Wait a minute, this girl is pulling stuff, and I think she's the writer. And so it
Right.
kind of blew my
Yeah.
cover. Oh, funny. But like,
What a,
I am really excited actually to
yeah.
get to a con to meet you. You're one of the people that I am most excited to finally get to meet. So hopefully that happens
Yeah.
sooner
Same
rather
here.
than later. So I was thinking maybe we could call this the Bifrost, which is kind of meant to be like bringing people together in this divided, crazy comic book industry. Until we kind of figure out what else we want to call it, we could go with that. It's kind of like, I feel like that show, the comedians in cars getting coffee, where we can just get on
Right.
whenever we feel like it, and there's no format. We can just
Right.
talk about whatever is kind of interesting to us that week or
Right.
whatever that month. And,
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to kind of just shoot the shit. I
Yeah.
like it.
So is it by frost because it's on defrosting things? Is that why you
Yeah,
put frost
yeah,
in
I
there?
like that. We're
I
defrosting
get it.
things. We're chilling
I get it.
out. We're the bridge,
Right.
between the kind of like two worlds, kind
Yeah.
of making
I like
things.
it.
Yeah, kind of cool.
I like it.
Well,
Yeah, sure.
is there
I dig it.
anything that you want to like plug for the week or you want to talk about or that you feel like people can find you? Where can they
Yeah.
find you?
Yeah, you find me on Twitter at Sean Gordon Murphy. on Twitter. And yeah, I have a book, a Batman book coming out on Wednesday called Curse of the White Knight, 8 issues. Yeah, and you have your Kickstarter, which you should plug in as well.
So I have right now a Kickstarter going for evergladeangels.com, where you can, it's like a 90s slasher horror kind of graphic novel. And I'm also working on a new comic series called Nora's Saga, which is more PG rated. And this will be available in stores with a wide release coming in the next couple of months. So I can't really say any more about that because I signed an NDA, and I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you, so I can't tell you. So anyway, that'll be out soon too.
Yeah.
But everybody knows where we are.
You have a ton of good news. You have a ton of good news coming out that you can't talk about yet. I'm excited for you to get to that day where you can share it.
I know, me too. It's exciting, but just being able to chat with you is exciting. This is fun. I'm super excited about our little chats.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get Brian Edward Hill next time to come and join us, which would be fun.
Yep.
And yeah,
we'll get him.
So this is great. All right. Well,
cool.
thanks
so
much
again. Always a pleasure, Blake.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, Sean. Okay, bye to everybody.
All right, take care. I'll talk to you next time.
Okay, bye guys.